thank you for joining me on the channel, Mazaraf Tarot. Today is going to be a conversation piece, if you will. And I want to talk about a few things that I have experienced and just where I am mentally at the moment. With that being said, I may eventually get into the signs, and if I do, I may or may not use male or female pronouns. But you don't have to be a biological man or a woman to be in either. So find your place in the story and take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And let's go ahead and get into it. You know what is so weird, you guys? I have recently, only a smidgen, before I even get into that, if you hear my air conditioner or my fan, it is a heat advisory where I currently live. So there's no way that I'm turning that off, but or at least for the moment. But anywho, I've been getting into the Quran. I've been reading the Quran to get acclimated with Elijah Muhammad, Allah, so on and so forth. And I've only gotten to the heifer, so I haven't gotten far at all. But it's so weird because when you go look at it, they talk about the apple, they talk about Romans, but the Quran is so very different because they were talking about how they drowned the Egyptians and how Moses needed to repent and all this other stuff. But more importantly, in the Quran, their beginning is connected to fruits as well, but they were able to consume, because the Quran to me is a little confusing, because there is no clarifying about who is speaking, meaning who is saying that. It doesn't say it's the honorable Muhammad. It doesn't say. So I was just confused about their origin story in the Quran, because I don't know who's giving those orders to drown the Egyptians. It's definitely not God. It's not Allah, because it doesn't say that Allah said or Allah spoke. So I was very confused. But they were able, because there was no God talking to them, to tell them that they cannot have the fruit. They did have the fruit, and they kind of, I wouldn't say worship the fruit. They were kind of proud to have it. But I just found it weird because their God was never talking to them. They didn't even, their beginning, it didn't seem like God was talking to Muhammad. It didn't seem like God was involved with the Quran, because they went straight to, they murdered for Moses. It doesn't make sense, but I did want to read it so that way I could kind of understand them and why they don't make sense. No, yes, their religion just doesn't make sense. It's not a good format. It's out of order, and it's not written properly. From my understanding, from an understanding of a person that's just think of a script or something, or when you go to English class, they would say, "Who said this? Who said that?" Now on my page, when I said "who said that," it was tied to the devil, because I don't know who said that in the Quran. But I did just find it interesting because it's kind of the same thing, except for, I guess, the Jewish Christian God. It couldn't have been the Jewish God, because Jewish people don't have a God. The Christian God was not talking to the people in the Quran. But those people in the Quran would have been that snake on that pole that Moses utilized to kill, drown, and poison the Egyptians. Because Moses had a stick with a snake or two. So, medicine. People in the Middle East or somewhere probably really good at medicine. Probably a lot of doctors. I don't know if they do anything well. They probably just do medicine. It's probably just to poison. I don't know. But the thing that I really wanted to talk about and touch bases on before I talk about the signs, because I guess there is some things that I actually want to talk about, if I can even freaking remember. Is redlining. Redlining. Excuse me. United States symbolically represents redlining that comes between the white. Is that blue supposed to be black? It's close enough. And then you get redlining between it. The thing is, the stars, LA, or in the Bible, Mazarok, which was the stars. None of those are stars, actually. Was a story of Jesus. It was tied to a story of Jesus, but they've gotten theirs in a vault, I guess. They got them in a box for sure, and they're separated. They're above that. They don't actually deal with that. The thing is, redlining is biblical. It is tied in with Moses. Moses is so freaking well known. Moses is even in the Quran. And I thought that was a Christian figure. It's got to be an idol because it has transcended across all religions. It's got its name in the lights. Jesus Christ is not even, I don't think Jesus Christ is in the Quran. But Moses is? Fascinating. But I could be wrong. Jesus Christ could be talked about in the Quran. I don't know if it's going to be in the positive. Moses. Anyway. Who are they? Anyway, redlining got something to do with the blood of the Lamb. All those people in that neighborhood decided to redline themselves and keep Egyptians out. The issue is they would have started doing that on somebody else's land. And then after they would have segregated themselves and concentrated themselves and focused solely on surviving just themselves and their lineages, they would have destroyed a place and then left to go forth and destroy somebody else's place. That's like a parasite. The thing is, who are the people from the Quran? They said they gave Moses some critter. They gave him some sort of critter. And he used that to then go forth and use them to kill. The problem is, in the Bible, that was one of the reasons Moses didn't like the Egyptian Pharaoh. Because the Egyptian Pharaoh said, drown all those firstborn sons And that's how Moses became the Pharaoh. You know, he became close enough. But they said that Moses' mother didn't want him to drown. That wouldn't have nothing to do with the Egyptians. Because in the Quran, it says that those Muslims, Moses told them drown those babies. So if the truth lies somewhere in the middle, someone did murder. Someone, Pharaoh, did be close to that. Did that person do it? No. The Pharaoh definitely didn't do it. Did the Egyptians do it? No, the Egyptians definitely didn't do it. Did it have something to do with Moses? It definitely had something to do with Moses. Did Moses want to do it? No. Someone else going to do it. Did it happen? Yes. Did it save Moses? Yes. Before I get to my things, I want to know who sat up once and unanimously, is that said? Unanimously decided, because I know why. I hate them. But I want to know who unanimously decided once in all the other races that they do not like brown or black skin. But then I want to know within the brown skin, when did they stand up with them hated ass and say, but we don't like black skin? Well, they don't like you. I want to know. I want to know who comes up with that idea. That, because it had to have been an idea that someone once stood up in the whites in the pale community and said, we doesn't like them. It can't be because Egyptians have power. Because, baby, I doesn't even know what the Muslims would have been doing in Egypt. I don't even know. Who invited them there? And the Hebrews? Who has invited you? I invite you into my home. And then you make me the enemy in my home. And then feel I'm a greater power than you. Because I will cheat, lie, steal, and kill. And then put it on you that you did it. And then be looked at as the hero. What? That's insane. That's violations. I want to talk about something on a personal note. My mother. My mother doesn't want me to win. You ever just have a mother that don't want you to win? And my mother likes to pretend that she's the victim. She's the victim. She's the victim. But the reality is my mother is spoiled rotten. Because everybody lets her pretend to be the victim. Government let her be the victim. My father says she's a victim. I thought she was a victim. Everybody thought she was a victim. Except for Death doesn't think that she's a victim. I don't think my mother's a victim either. My mother's a perpetrator. But my mother doesn't want me to win. My mother would rather have more money in her pocket versus me get the training, get the position, get the stability that I need to actually be rid of her. The thing that is so weird is love. Love. As I've gotten older, as I've gotten more mature, I realized something about my quote unquote mother. That it's not that she can't love herself. Love is not within her. It's not within her. When you have a child that is an adult, that has a family, you don't tell that child to separate or break up their house, home, or family. You do not do that. You don't do that. When your child is married and has a house or home and they're not physically abused, if they're just having issues, you do not tell your child, who you know that you are not and have never been there for, to break up their happy home. You don't do that. You don't advocate for divorce. You don't advocate for separation. You don't do it. Just so that way then you can play house with someone's children. You don't do that. You're not God. God ain't in here. Because I was thinking about my daughter and my son, but mostly my daughter. If she was married, if my daughter was married, there would have never been a time, because I was married before my mother got involved, that my daughter would have felt like her husband couldn't talk to her father. Her husband couldn't, and she couldn't stay with me and her father. Because we had a unit, we had a home where we had our children together. There was no outside children. I didn't have that. I would have never told my daughter, daughter, leave your husband, who is the primary breadwinner. I would have never done that. I don't have a reason to do that. In my scenario, the answer would have been, bring your husband and yourself to me and your father, so we can sit down and we can figure out what's going on. It's not affairs. You guys are just arguing. You're stuck. You've been together for so long. Then maybe you guys need a break from the kids or something. My mother said, leave him. You don't need him. The difference is, my mother in her marriage was never a marriage. My father didn't love her. My father felt pity for my mother. He felt sorry for her. But when you have heavy dead weight connected to you that you're taking care of because you feel sorry for a person, not because you love them, not because you understand them, not because you're attracted to them, not because you want them. At first it's a necessity, and then once you get on your feet, you feel sorry for that person. You don't treat that person well. You don't love that person. You won't chase that person. You won't advocate for that person. You won't even give a damn if they leave. You won't have vengeance. You won't care. You wouldn't care. He didn't care about the children from you. He didn't want the children. He didn't want to understand your pain. He just let you go. He didn't want you in the first place. Neither do I. When you come from a marriage that divorced like that, but you've got a convoluted mental about yourself that you've broke some sort of generational curse because you've married a demon from hell, from prison, who didn't ever love you. He didn't even never choose you. He chose me initially. You'll say, leave him, you don't need him. while simultaneously trying to hold on to any man you can find in the in-between. Destroy my life, my marriage, my children's future relationships and marriages. Because you want to be the victim, and then everybody looks at you like the victim, but then people don't respect you as a person because you are the victim. But because you are so mental, you want to take it out on the thing closest to you, the person who was there to listen to you and respected you as much as they could, and opened their door. Me and my husband would open the door, and you are not our child. You and your boyfriend wouldn't even open the door to me, and I listened to you. Another thing about that mother, I don't like the way that mother talks to my child. When you have an adolescent child that's in that phase in their life where they're starting to either love themselves or hate themselves, you don't constantly bully or nitpick at them, talking about constructive criticism. It's not a project that needs to be built. There's no glow up. There's no brick by brick. There's no pressure makes diamonds. My child is not a fucking object. It is somebody. I don't like when she says, your hair is nappy. Your hair looks a mess. You didn't brush your teeth. You're dirty. You're stinky. Your father needs to. The hair that grows out of my daughter's head is not nappy. It's not sleeping. It's alive, and it's in the act of growing. Her teeth. The teeth. We have fake teeth. It is what it is. But what I'm getting to is that can mess with someone's self-esteem. Even when you think that it's a positive, like I'm telling her that she needs to dance. You don't. You don't have to make it a spectacle. You don't have to make it a speech. Since you are playing this mother role, there was never time that I would call you about my child and say, she did not brush her teeth today. Just go brush your teeth when you feel like it. And if you don't, the consequences is you could get a cavity. You could lose your teeth like me, like your father. You don't make it be a public service fucking announcement. I did not open my door to my mother. Meaning, I never had my mother be a visitor in my house. No. I wasn't like being a visitor at my mother's house. I don't have a mother. I wouldn't begin to know what it feels like to have a mother. You know what? Out of her insanity, what she don't understand is that she's repeating the same curses on her beloved granddaughter. Because she's insane and she has the mind and a God complex about herself. She has the mind of a 12-year-old. She's 12, no. But she has the mind of a child. An adolescent, wild child that thinks it's grown. But I've never seen it do anything responsible. Especially when it pertains to her child. No. The only way I benefited is if my mother was single and I was a child having to live with her. School loans, yeah. But guess what? When she would get school loans in her name for me to go to college, Guess who got the refund? She did. Shit. One time she did it. Did I get that school loan? I think that would have been the time I got my own school loan. I had to move into an apartment. An off-campus apartment. Because my father had just got out of prison. And guess what? She was still getting Section 8 with my name on it. That bedroom was supposed to be mine. She'll deny it up and down, but I know. Because it didn't get taken away till late. Later that same year, but later. I couldn't live there. I couldn't live there because I was a lesbian. Here's the secret. My father said that he had sex with a man in prison. That's what he said. Now, why did he have sex with people in prison? I don't know. That's what he did do. It wasn't a theory. It wasn't like maybe. It was 100% yes, because he said that he did have sex with men in prison. But since I was a lesbian, I couldn't live there. But my father, who did violate men in prison and then also get violated, he could live there because he was willing to pay the bills. I was technically also trying to pay the bills. Because since I can remember, my mom had been putting bills and lights in my name. So by the time I was 18, I think I had fucked up credit. Because back in the day, I don't know if you remember this, you could put cable, cell phones, lights in your kid's name. So by the time I was 18, I couldn't get shit in my name. Because I already owed. Then by the time I was 19, I had a past due bill of $10,000 in rent. Because my mother. Here, let's get an apartment together. I know you're on bed rest, but you get that little money. You put up some and I'll put up the rest because I'm working. And guess what happened? She left me in the hole to go be with that man who had sex with men in prison. And beat her ass. And not in a sexy way. My relationship with my husband wasn't the best. It wasn't negative either. It wasn't that. But now every time I have a problem with my mother, she has a problem with my ex-husband. And I told my mother, and I don't know if she just got an animosity. I'm just venting at this point. I told my mother, I said, I don't like that you be with all these. Like, I don't like your boyfriend. I don't like your boyfriend. His last name says Beast. You're not Beauty, and that's not Beast. And I was going, I don't like him. The reason why I don't like him is because within 4 years, my mother has slept with and lived with 4 different men. In the face of my children, my daughter, her granddaughter. 4 men, 4 years. My father first. That was from when my daughter was born to 4 or 5. Chris, my daughter stayed with her boyfriend and Chris, in a house for like 5 months. God-fearing Cadillac driving, who was married. He was around, stealing out your house. You having to go to the police station, scaring me and scaring my daughter. The guy from Detroit, who you were having sex with the door open at your house. That me and my daughter had to get a hotel and I had maybe $300 to my name. With the twins, Nevaeh and Nevaeh, whatever. That was just born. That you put on your Netflix account. And your current boyfriend. Mike. I don't have that. If you think that's beautiful, that your number of dicks correlate with the years that have passed, I don't like that. But then she gets offended. My mother will get offended that I tell her I do not like your boyfriends around my children. They're not here to stay. And also, they've been around your boyfriends enough. They've been around your boyfriends enough. I don't hate her. I just don't like her. I don't like women like that. Yesterday, I was with my ex-husband trying to find a dress for our daughter to go to a funeral. And I seen this black lady. She was in a relationship with this white man. She scared the hell out of me. She started making me have panic. I was like, that is the devil's panic and fucking anxiety. Because as soon as it come around me, it scares the fuck out of me. I don't like being around women. I don't like being around them. They get me nervous. And I'm not the devil. They get me nervous and they get me scared. I don't like those interracial relationships. I don't like them demons. I don't like them women. But isn't that fascinating? You women out there, you men out there, when it comes to your own life, please, unless you have a parent that is of sound mind and reason, please do not listen. Because when shit hits the fan, that parent that told you destroy your whole life is not going to be there for you. And if they are there for you, they will start to act like you are hindering them. You are holding them back. You are the reason why they are not. They cannot. But they ain't never. They will never be happy. My mother ain't gonna never be happy. Karma is real. You don't destroy someone's life. Think you can marry it, like, not marry it, mirror what that person had. Replace them, play house, talk crazy to someone, disrespect someone, and think you're gonna get to where you wanna be. You ain't gonna never. Oh, I'm not gonna stand there. I'll let fate do that. Life ain't a bitch, fate is. Because I'm gonna let everything that you have done to me within my own house or home in my family, all the consequences, they're on you. You are to blame. Why I can't be there for my kids, that's your fault. And God knows it is. While my marriage and my house and home is divided, that's your fault. And God knows it is. Why I'm sick and stressed, it's your fault. And God knows it is. And I don't have nothing to do with you. Bye.